and welcome. It is another episode of the Red Leaf for Retrocast. It's episode 105. Retro Gaming here. I am JD, joined by Joey and Colin. Guys, how you doing?
Hello.
Doing all right.
Well, you got the Everton game on, Joey. You're doing great, aren't you?
We'll see when they start losing.
Who are they playing today?
I mean, I think Crystal Palace.
They should wait.
They should.
They should do fine.
Yeah, they should. They have one win in the last 8 games or something like that. So, and it's against Arsenal. So, yeah, no, they're not doing too well right now.
Not doing too well. Well, I watched F1 this morning, Formula One. You guys familiar with the racy cars?
Yeah, they go vroom vroom.
Vaguely.
Yeah, vaguely. Okay, so I'll give you
They
the.
also
I'll give
catch
you,
fire.
yeah, well, not in some time, but the gist of the season was it's Red Bull and Verstappen, very great up and coming. Well, for a while he was a great up and coming driver, and Red Bull got him, and he's been in the mix for the championship all season. And then Lewis Hamilton, who was going for Schumacher's record, and they have had a duel all year, ranging from basically crashing into each other all season and the other winning whichever race. It's very reminiscent of the 1970s race. A lot of pundits and critics and fans were making comparisons of. That was the year where Niki Lauda crashed his car and caught on fire, and he had to come back and came down to the final race, etc., etc. So this season ends in Abu Dhabi this morning, and the very first turn right out of the gate, Lewis Hamilton does kind of a dick pull, goes over the white line, and for those that don't know, he basically goes wide, comes back, and it's kind of an illegal move, and the Formula One committee is like, nah, it's okay. It was aggressive but okay, or no, the phrase was aggressive but fair, and so Team Red Bull and Verstappen were like bullshit immediately to start the race. So as the race is going on, Hamilton has an 11-second lead, insurmountable to basically come back from, essentially. And what happens is a car kind of in the mid-pack area flips on turn 15, and it's a huge crash. So the Formula One committee has two options to make a call at this point. They can either go under safety car rules, which would automatically give Hamilton the win. I don't know if they really need to do that. He was kind of off the track. There was some debris a little bit everywhere, but they could have probably got that over. So probably not the decision they were going to go with. The other decision was was what they went with, which the lapped cars can't be passed because they have to clear the debris out. And what that comes down to now is that allows Verstappen to basically make up that 11 seconds. So he's right behind Hamilton. And so they did a restart with the final lap to go. So this is right at the end of the race. And the caveat to this was Verstappen was pulling into pit so he could get fresh tires on. And in Formula One, the type of tires and how worn they are, it's all part of the process, and getting advantages where you need it. Hamilton, however, was not allowed to pit during this because he was just so far ahead of the pack that the crash did not affect him. So he had 40-lap worn-ass tires. You see where this is going. So they restart, and it takes 5 turns on the final lap, and Verstappen just gets the inside, pulls ahead. There's sparks coming out from cars because it's so low, and they're hitting the ground running. And Verstappen wins under these extremely controversial rules. And, of course, Mercedes, that's Hamilton's team, immediately files 2 protests for this not to go through. And there were immediate questions whether it should have been a red flag restart would have been the fair decision, because these are the only 2 drivers that are really coming down to the championship to finish the season. Real wild finish, real crazy controversy. But they've been having back and forths like this all year. Things just going for the other team. It's almost like everything just fell right for Verstappen to win. It's one of the best Formula One seasons I can remember watching in at least a decade, since the Schumacher era, probably longer. And it was just super exciting. The controversy makes it so much better. Everyone's really sick of woke as fuck Hamilton and his stupid team. So the Russian wins, and my favorite was the camera just randomly cuts back, and there's in 11th place who finishes, and it's Sebastian Vettel, who was a champion 12 years ago, and he won 6 in a row. He's in 12th place doing donuts, and he's like, yeah. So Formula One really got me reaming this morning, especially after coming off being ill. So I was good to go. So that's what I did. I was sick, playing a lot of Pokemon Sword specifically. I got a ghost team going because my friends were making fun of me having a grass team. Made me feel bad. So I got a little self-conscious, so I got a ghost team going instead. That's what I've been doing. Colin, that Formula One recap get your balls busting?
Not particularly.
You're no fun. You hate sports.
Most I've seen of Formula One is the movie Rush.
Yeah, so think of this season as the Rush, but in 2021, less drugs and alcohol and partying from the British guy.
Yeah. Well, been playing a few. What?
I'd say I loosely followed the season this year, so because it was so crazy.
Yeah, it was super exciting. It hasn't been this way in a long time, especially because Lewis Hamilton's been so dominant for the past 10 years.
And I like how vocal he was, especially when he was wearing the rainbow helmet in Saudi Arabia. He had no problem calling out governments.
Yeah, he's a woke individual. You were saying, Colin?
Well, in any case, aside from games I've been playing, I mean, what you just said about your ghost team in Pokemon, JD, reminded me. I saw Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Okay.
In the theaters. And I liked it.
Oh. Good to hear.
Seemed to be way more of a love letter to the original movies than the 2016 version.
The 2016 one was one with all the females with terrible comedy, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like that movie at all. I thought it sucked.
You and lots of other people, apparently.
Yeah. Just a bad movie.
But careful, that means you're a bigot.
No, it means I don't like bad movies.
I don't think I watched that one at all, so
me either.
I avoided it.
Yeah, it was just a bad movie. Plain and simple.
But yeah, Afterlife, it's kind of got me wanting to play the PS3 game now, after I get done with World Ends With You. That is Neo, The World Ends With You. And speaking of, I finally got back to playing that one, and things are continuing to heat up. Another important character from the first game has made their grand appearance, and given who it is, I can tell a lot of epic shit's about to go down, which of course will result in a lot of long cutscenes.
Naturally.
Look forward to hearing about that down the line. And as a side note, I know that up to now I've been really vague in my description of what's been going on in the game, but that's only because I don't want to spoil any of what goes on in it. But more importantly, I don't want to spoil what happens in the first game, because I really feel that to get the best experience with the first game, you need to play it blind. So to all of you listening, what are you waiting for? Go out and play it. On DS, of course. The Switch port does not do it justice.
Why? What's wrong with it?
Well, the mechanics just don't translate as well if you're not using a touch screen.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Plus, it uses the two screens of the DS as like one of its main mechanics, so that you'll miss out on that sort of thing as well. But speaking of the DS, I played some of Os Tatakai Oendan after our rhythm game cast. And so far, it's pretty fun. For those wondering, Oendan is the precursor to Elite Beat Agents. Listen to episode 103 for more. And it's not as polished as EBA, and it's a bit weird playing it in all Japanese. I mean, I have a translation guide in front of me, but it's still a bit tricky to understand just because it just goes through everything so quickly. But the core gameplay is still there, and it's still solid, so I'm going to keep playing more of it. Although one other sticking point is that the story scenarios aren't as wacky and cartoony as Elite Beat Agents. It's mostly mundane, boring stuff, like a high school student studying for college entrance exams, an office lady being bossed around by her mean girl coworkers, a ramen cook trying to get his business off the ground. You get the idea. But then again, this was Innes's first kick at the can with this sort of game, so I can't be too hard on it. And maybe the sequel has more imagination to its scenarios, but for now, each one is still a bit forgettable. But again, first try, can't be too hard on it.
Alrighty.
And that's really all I've been playing, but I've also been seeing lots of announcement trailers from the Video Game Awards, but I'm guessing we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah, we got Game of the Year awards, Video Game Award announcements that came out from that show. We got our topic, which is my topic today, which is Sega Europe. I got super unique with this one. Yeah. All right. This is our final episode of 2021, which means our next episode will be picking our retro game of the year from 2020.
Ooh.
Yeah, we get to go over the tier list and all that, which we have made. You can check that out at redleafretrocast.blogspot.com. See the completed tier list. Follow myself on Twitter, where I also post it at BowlingJD. So let's get into the Video Game Awards, shall we?
Alrighty.
Okay. Joey, do you propose we do something else?
No, this is fine.
Okay. Joey, take us through Game of the Year. Why don't you take the lead on this one?
Game of the Year?
Yeah.
Well, It Takes Two won. I don't think I've heard about that game.
Who were the other nominees?
Deathloop, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet & Clank, Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village.
So, of this list, I played It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, and Resident Evil Village. Is what I played.
What is It Takes Two about?
It's a co-op story game about two parents that are getting a divorce, and then the child makes... I'm trying to remember. She makes a wish, and then they become like little dolls, and they go through kind of a Honey, I Blew Up the Kids scenario where they fight like bees and battle toasters that have like come to life. It's a goofy little fun co-op game. Game of the year?
Deserves Game of the Year?
Game of the year? No. Because I don't have a PS5, I can't say Rift Apart for Ratchet & Clank, but if I was to choose, Deathloop was kind of broken and funny, so I think I'd go Metroid Dread, personally. That'd be my get. Anybody disagree?
I would assume Resident Evil Village, with how popular that was.
I haven't played any of them, but I'm leaning more towards Metroid.
All right. Next category, Joey. We go through this.
Best game direction: Deathloop, It Takes Two, Returnal, Psychonauts 2, and Ratchet and Clank, and Deathloop won.
Yeah, this is where It Takes Two or Returnal probably should have won.
Yeah.
Next category.
Best narrative: we got Deathloop, It Takes Two, Life is Strange, True Colors, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, and Psychonauts 2, and Guardians of the Galaxy won.
This is funny.
I don't understand how that one could win. I mean, I know it's Marvel and all that, and it's good stories, but I mean, that's kind of cheating, is it not? You would think It Takes Two, from what you described, which should win that one.
Right, or even Life is Strange. You'd think an original story would probably take precedent over this. Yeah, it's my thinking as well. We aren't alone in these thoughts, by the way. Moving on.
I agree.
Best art direction: Deathloop, Kenna, Bridge of Spirits, Psychonauts, Ratchet and Clank, and The Artful Escape. And Deathloop won. I have no idea what most of these other games look like, so I can't really tell you if this is on or not.
Kenna is a cute little platformer for the PS5. It's a game I've wanted. It got pretty decent reviews. It's very beautiful to look at, so that's why it's nominated here. I got no problem with Deathloop winning this one.
Okay. Best score / music: we got Cyberpunk 2077, which I completely forgot about. Deathloop, Near Replicant version 1.22474487139. That's a great name. Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy, and Artful Escape, and Near won.
Yeah, I don't like remasters and ports and stuff being nominated for awards. So
I mean, I could see Cyberpunk winning this. The music wasn't bad.
Yeah.
But I don't know the new music in Deathloop or Artful or Marvel. But I don't think Nier should have won.
No, because it's a game from years ago.
That's just cheating. I think if just re-release a game of the year every 5 years and see if you keep winning.
Exactly. Yeah, how come Skyrim isn't on this list? It's released on everything like year over year port. Just
because they didn't change the version. If they kept up versions, they would have been able to.
I gotcha.
I mean, this is version 1.22474487139. How hard is that for you to understand?
Best software of the year.
Everyone can get that.
Best software of the year. Which update is it?
Next is best audio design. We got Deathloop, Forza, Ratchet and Clank, Resident Evil Village, and Returnal. And Forza won.
Yeah, it's a driving game. It's driving games have to have, well, not have to, but between Forza and Gran Turismo, they always have great in-game audios and sound with the cars. Very good. Returnal had excellent audio design. That was very good. I probably would have voted for Returnal.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to keep going through these? Do people care about best performance?
Let's see here. No. Impact, Life is Strange, ongoing game, no one cares.
That one.
Indie game. We got 12 minutes, Death's Door, Inscription, Loop Hero, and Kenna Bridge of Spirits. This is a good category because Death's Door got like incredible reviews. It's a really good game. Inscription is super unique. It's brand new. It's a horror card adventure game with like animals and you're in a cabin. It's really wild. Kenna Bridge of wait a minute. Who made Kenna Bridge of Spirits? What are we qualifying as indie these days?
I don't know.
Let's see. Ember Lab. Never heard of them. How big are they?
Well, that game won their best debut indie as well, so I guess they're a new studio.
They must be, right? I don't know if I qualify them as indie.
Apparently, they were founded in 2009, so they've been around. I don't know if they have any games, but they've been around.
Very strange. Okay.
Maybe they worked on other games and this is their first they've made.
Maybe. Maybe. VR, Resident Evil 4. Action, Returnal. Yeah, now we're just getting into were you in a genre this year? So those are the Game Awards. Maybe not the best. Best games won each category, but take it or leave it.
I will agree with the best esports athlete of the year. Simple from Counter-Strike. He's been unbelievably good.
An undefeated machine, you might say.
Like, he's like so damn good.
Okay.
So, like, he's dominant above everyone else. So it makes sense that he won.
And Colin, how about you take us through some of the big announcements from the Game Awards?
Well, let's see. I was only able to actually watch 3 of the trailers, but some of these look Actually, wait, make that 4. One of them is Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. I have not heard about that up to now. There's Star Wars Eclipse.
A lot of movie games. A lot of movie games. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But Star Wars Eclipse looks kind of interesting because it's made by Quantic Dream, who made Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human. And like I said, I haven't gotten a chance to watch the trailer for it, but there's probably nothing there because they said it's still in early development. So, who knows? There's Wonder Woman, made by the guys who made Middle-earth: Shadow of War, Monolith Productions. And this one I did see just this morning, Alan Wake 2.
Yeah, I saw that. That kind of caught my eye.
Yeah. And they said it's going to be a full-on survival horror game this time around. Because he said, yeah, because I saw Jeff Keighley talking to Sam Lake, who's like the guy in charge of it. And he said the first Alan Wake had horror elements, but it was more than anything else an action game. But this time it's going to be full-on survival horror. So that ought to be interesting. Trouble is, we got to wait until 2023 to see it.
Gotcha.
But I'm willing to wait. And I'm pretty interested to see how it will tie into the Control universe. Or if it will even refer to Control at all. Who knows? And then there's Forspoken. I've never seen that one.
Yes, so this caught my eye a lot. So it comes out May 24th. It got a release date. It's got the Breath of the Wild kind of open world to it. You can go anywhere, anytime, any place. And you watch gameplay of this, you are traversing this environment so fast in many different forms and fashions. It's it's an action RPG, so right up my alley. It is
awesome.
From what I could tell, the narrative is I think it's an isekai, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think it is actually. Let's see. The protagonist, I just pulled it up. The protagonist, Frey Holland, is a young woman who is transported from New York to the fantasy world and uses magical powers to journey through it and survive. There you go. It is an isekai. Yeah. So this looks incredible. This was kind of one of my big takeaways of the announcements was Forspoken, going on my list.
Cool. And then there's
Sonic the Hedgehog, not so much.
There's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, made by the guys who did the most recent Friday the 13th.
Yeah, so probably the same game, basically.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And there's Senua Saga, Hellblade 2. That looks really cool.
Maybe the game will come out eventually.
Well, hey, this trailer actually showed some gameplay, so looks pretty interesting.
I love the first one.
Yeah. And Halo the TV show. I have no interest in that. And there's Elden Ring. I guess that's got something to do with Elder Scrolls. I don't know.
Hey, that's the most anticipated game of the year.
Apparently. But I've only heard whispers about it since I don't really actively go out of my way for it.
I think it's an
And
Xbox exclusive, so it has no bearing on me at all.
Yeah. Then there's Sonic Frontiers.
Open zone game. So an open world Sonic game. I have zero faith this is going to be executed in any way, shape, or form well.
Didn't they already try that sort of thing with like Sonic 06 and Sonic Boom?
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. I don't really have any interest. The only time I might have any interest in a new Sonic game is if it's a direct sequel to Sonic Mania.
Okay.
But anyway, there's Slitterhead, which is some kind of horror game. Apparently made by Bohec Game Studios. I have no idea who they are. Then there's The Lord of the Rings, Gollum, which is supposed to be a stealth action game. Where you play as Gollum / Smeagol. And I haven't watched the trailer, so I don't know what's going to happen there, but maybe I'll have a look later. There's Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Yeah, does this have... This has something to do with Borderlands, right?
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's an offshoot from one of the characters, because the D&D DLC was really popular, so they kind of made a game similar to that.
Yeah, this got a lot of buzz coming out. So
I'm kind of excited to see what happens with it.
Yeah, that's a March 25th release, by the way.
Looks like it. I don't really have much interest in new Borderlands games, although the fact that Will Arnett is going to be in it kind of has me interested. For those who don't know, Will Arnett is the voice of BoJack Horseman and Lego Batman. So I guess we'll end up getting another character who actively refuses to learn a lesson. But anyway, there's also Among Us for VR.
Yeah, from there on out, there wasn't really much else to speak of.
Yeah. Although I'm kind of interested in the Matrix Resurrections plus Awakens thing. Looks like it's gonna be a like open world Matrix type thing, and that could be interesting.
Yeah, because remember, Enter the Matrix was a great game.
Hey, I liked it.
We haven't covered that on the podcast, have we?
No, we have not.
Oh, ho, 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 ho.
Yeah, it's an idea for later.
Ooh, all right. Evil thoughts. Evil thoughts. Okay.
But yeah, there's Star Trek Resurgence, Arc Raiders, new creator safe music from Riot Games. What the hell does that mean? It says, it's like an album of copyright-free music that you can use without getting DMCA'd. Rumbleverse, no idea what that's supposed to be.
Yeah, don't worry about the rest. It's not worth it.
Yeah, it looks like Telltale's still making stuff.
Yeah, allegedly.
With an Expanse thing. Yeah, not much. Oh, there was also the Cuphead DLC trailer.
Yeah, old news.
Really? This is my first time hearing about it.
Well, Cuphead is just so... They took too long.
Yeah, they wanted to polish it to a mirror shine, just like the original game.
Yeah, that also took too long.
But it was great. I'd rather wait a long time for a game that turns out great than something that gets rushed out the door and is shit.
Yeah, you still got to capitalize on your buzz and everything. But anyways.
And Sonic the new Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie got a trailer too. I watched that just last night.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one wasn't bad. I actually kind of enjoyed it. But the
Same.
second one looks like it's following, I guess, the story of the second and third game, kind of smushing them together.
Yeah, Knuckles is in it, voiced by Idris Elba.
Ha.
And Tails will be in it too, voiced by the original voice actress. That's kind of interesting.
Oh, how about that?
And there will be Chaos Emeralds involved, so that should be cool.
Chaos Control.
No Shadow the Hedgehog from what I can see.
How could you have Chaos? Never mind. Maybe I'll come out in the third one.
Maybe.
So
yeah, that's pretty much all that's worth talking about here.
Shall we get into our topic? Maybe. Yes. Assurance. I need it.
Yes.
All right, there
Maybe.
we go. Okay.
Wait. Hold up. Okay, let's go ahead.
Okay, good. Alrighty, so my topic is my choice for the month of December, essentially, and I wanted to do something very unique and out of the box, and I wanted to do something around Sega. Sega's been in the news a lot lately. I've wanted to play some weird-ass Sega Genesis games, or Mega Drive, for those who live in Europe, and I say that because I picked two games that never released in the United States. Specifically, they were only released in they were one of them was released in Japan. One of them was. I don't think the other one was. It was a British only game, actually. But for those that don't know, the Mega Drive was more popular than Sega was more popular in Europe than Nintendo, and more popular in South America than Nintendo, specifically Brazil, for sure. And that sort of fandom led to a lot of games that just never saw popularity or a port or any sort of semblance in the United States and in Canada. The Master System games. Master System was popular in Canada. But for the Mega Drive and Genesis specifically, it led to some games that, let's just say, these European companies didn't have the reputation of being the best developers during this era. So there's a lot of games with great ideas that just were short of being great. So if it was a great game and it got great reviews, it would have come over. It would have seen the light of day. I mean, there's a studio that we constantly pull games from. It's like Ocean or something. All their games always seem to come up, but they're kind of like shovelware almost, kind of, sort of. So I picked two here. The first one is called Stormlord, and controversial game because in Europe, nudity is kind of yesterday's news. It's the violence that Europe has a major problem with. The opposite in terms of North America. Okay? So, this game was not going to see the light of day in North America because nude bad, but blowing heads off fine. So this game is a platformer that was originally on like all of these European consoles. The ZX Spectrum, Amiga, you get the idea. And the very next year in 1990, it was ported to the Genesis, the Mega Drive. So it came out in June 1989. You are a dude made from lightning. And there is an evil witch or some shit, and she's trapped all the fairies in the land of Mystique or whatever. And you lightning dude must jump around and traverse this environment to save all the fairies. and all the fairies are nude, including the very first screen where you see a giant fairy who is nude, and she goes, and you get the whole woo in the background, because she is a hot nude fairy. Very important to know that. And where this game's difficulty lies, because you boot it up and you go, God, this game looks fucking great. There's muscles, there's colors, everything's well defined. It kind of plays pretty good, and then you notice right away it is a ghosts and ghouls system. It's one hit kill, and excuse me. And there's a timer to it where you have to find these fairies at a specific amount of time. What'd you guys think?
It kind of reminded me of Prometheus and Bob, with just the way he walked around. Remember that old claymation cartoon thing from Nickelodeon?
Yeah.
Nope.
So just the way he walked around, it just all slow and just methodic. It just reminded me of Bob. Or Prometheus. I forget which one was which.
I don't think it matters.
One was the
Joey.
alien, one was... Yeah. That's what I got from this game.
Colin?
The version I played, the chicks weren't fully nude. They were just wearing bikinis.
Weak.
Hey, I work with what I have. Yeah, like you said, I immediately thought of Ghosts and Goblins when I played this, but with stiffer controls. And I tried getting through the first level, but it was just such a maze, because one of the things you have to do is you have to go to these little platforms with skulls that have glowing red eyes on them, so that you get picked up by an eagle and brought to another platform of the sort. Sometimes you have to do that in order to rescue fairies, and then other times you're blowing past a huge portion of the level. So it forces you to repeat play a lot of it, so you don't accidentally bypass a lot of the key areas, which is pretty bad design, if you ask me. And sometimes the fairies are blocked off by swarms of bees, and I did not realize this the first time around, but you need to grab honey pots and put them nearby so that the bees will swarm around them. And I didn't realize you could pick up those pots. I mean, I knew you could pick up the keys, but the pots I didn't. There's also umbrellas you can pick up, but I didn't realize those were able to be picked up, because you actually have to press a button to pick them up instead of you just automatically grabbing them when you walk over them.
Yeah.
So that's a little odd. And maybe I would have known if I had like an instruction manual or something, but when I was playing it, I was just too tired out from the day to do it. I only just played it last night, played like maybe half an hour. And yeah, it's not great. I mean, it looks great. It has some really cool atmosphere. There's the occasional lightning strike in the background, and all the enemies look pretty cool, but, well, enemies, backgrounds, environments, looks pretty neat. But aside from that, it's really not particularly good.
So there was a forum that I found about this game, and people lobbying for Sega to bring it back in the modern era, because the ideas of the game were very good. Traverse an environment, pick a certain, learn a path to take that will get you to victory. Like, you can't just randomly go. You have to trial and error which specific path is going to work. And while in theory that's a great idea, the Ghost and Goblins one-hit kill system really makes that uberly frustrating and kind of not doable unless you're extremely dedicated to it. So there's always it's always like one step forward, two steps back with the game, because there's so much that's, you can clearly see there's a great game here. Just in execution, they went too old school with it.
Sure you're not still sick, dude?
Muted myself.
Sure you're not still sick?
Of course I'm still sick. You kidding me? I'm dying here. The more I talk, the more my throat starts to dry up and I start coughing. So forgive me. I'm trying to get you guys to speak for me a lot more.
No, you shall not be forgiven. You must take your whipping.
So I got through level 1 and I got halfway through level 2. It's a very tough game to get through. So what I ended up doing to kind of help myself out was I watched a YouTuber, of course. And of course he can go through like every level without getting hit. So that kind of helped guide the path of where I was supposed to take. But there's too much eagle traversing going back and forth. There's too many super specific platforms that you have. Like there's one ferry that you have to get, and there's the bees in front of it, and you have to so precisely jump on this one platform with the bees in order to then jump over it. All while there's a wizard just below you shooting up a blue flame ball thing at you. It's there's too much of that in the game that makes this almost unplayable. So, Hewiston Consultants made this. They were I believe they're the Quest Adventure people, if that rings a bell. Maybe? No?
I have no idea what that is.
Okay. Won't worry about it then. Verdict. What you guys got?
Fail. D. Oh, whoops. I spoiled my tier.
I think I'm also going to fail it because I really hated the noise of the attack hitting everything. It got very annoying very fast.
Yeah, you had 2 attacks. You had the weird arc, like, lightning attack, and then a giant sword protrudes forward.
Yeah.
2 very inconsistent attacks. So unless you know the enemies are coming in a specific pattern, which is, for the era, it's trial and error. You get used to it, you learn it, and you get better. But in the modern eyes, it's something that simply didn't need to exist, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I fail it too. But there is a good game there to be had. Imagine, so back to the forum part. They were lobbying for the game to be made in modern era in like a God of War type game, which I think would do this game justice and all the ideas that they had.
That could work.
Yeah, I could see that.
And then I saw more people discussing, well, what if they remade the game in kind of a retro style and it was more like a Castlevania or even a Metroid? Because the Metroid is all about traversing the environment and finding the paths and freeing what you need per level, and then you could go to different areas accordingly after you get what you need from part 1. So instead of like you beat area 1 and you can go back to it if you so choose. Maybe there's certain puzzles you can unlock later. I thought these were all great ideas, sticking with everything that made Stormlord the Lord of Storms.
Yeah, it is a pretty metal title with a metal title screen.
All right. Could not tell you how long this is, how long it would take to beat. I imagine you could probably beat it in 45 minutes with a 1 credit clear. How much does it go for? Stormlord. Stormlord goes for $20. There you go. Easy enough.
Okay.
And the second game I chose was Pulseman. Developed by Game Freak. Maybe you've heard of them.
Huh. That's cool. I didn't realize it was them.
Yeah, 1994. Europe and Japan. came out on the Sega channel, believe it or not. And it did make its way to the Virtual Console when that existed. Pulseman is essentially Electric Sonic. It's
Yeah.
the easiest way I can... And what else?
With a bit of Mega Man.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the levels and way you fight is very much like a Mega Man type game. And the character art and the way he moves is very much like Sonic the Hedgehog. Colin, Joey, what'd you guys think of Pulseman?
I really liked it. I mean, it's got a lot going for it. I mean, you have a melee attack and a shoot attack, and there's a cool mechanic that you run long enough, you build up an energy charge that lets you either fire a shot where you'd normally punch, or launch yourself in like a diagonal arc that lets you bounce off of walls and a whole bunch of cool stuff like that. I think that actually inspired one of the character's abilities in the game Freedom Planet, where you launch in a straight line and ricochet off of walls to get places. And there's actually even a bonus stage where you use that same mechanic to play Breakout and break a whole bunch of blocks. I thought that was really creative.
Yep.
And I really like the art style and the backgrounds. I mean, it just looks very cool and unique, and the parallaxing in particular is really nice to look at. There's even a bit in the foreground later into the first level. And the music was decent. I thought the main sprite was a little big.
Yes, it's almost like the camera's too close on him.
Yeah.
So that's only in some levels. Like in level 2, it gives you more distance away, and they give you more screen. So level 2 was really fun. It's called I think it's called like I forget the name of the stage, but the camera zooms out a little bit, and you get a much better feel for the stage on level 2.
Yeah. Yeah, wasn't that like in India? Because it takes place in different countries.
Yes. Yeah.
First it's Japan, then it's India, and I forget the third one.
America in Vegas.
Fuck yeah!
Yeah, and you go and you can traverse inside out computers because I guess the plot is there's a hacker. We'll call him Hackman, and he has minions inside the Digiverse or the what was the reboot universe? Joey?
I don't remember.
The
I think
net?
it was the net.
Yeah, the net. Yeah, and he has bosses inside the net. It's my understanding of it all. Joey, what do you think of Pulseman?
I mean, it really does just look like Sonic beats Mega Man. Like, it looks like Sonic just wearing a metal helmet. It looks interesting. Some of the stages look really busy, though, especially when you like go across the wires or circuits, I guess.
Okay, so that was really cool. I love that mechanic. It is like the grind rail in Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, it's cool, but it also looks very confusing at times. But I don't know. This game looks fun.
It's not as hard. God damn it! It's not as hard as you think.
Yeah, you don't really get it's not so complicated that you get lost that easily. At least from what I played.
And then I was watching some people speedrun it, and there's some interesting glitches in the game.
Oh yeah. It gets very glitch heavy. So specifically in the casino stage, because it's totally not Sonic, there isn't a casino stage, right? There is a
in the casino stage where you fight an Eggman type boss.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Come on. You're seeing things. Totally not the same thing. And he doesn't pop up multiple times in the game. So there's like a green pixelated sky in the background, and what happens is if you jump too high on the stage, you get heavy slowdown. But if you go lower and get rid of that green texture, it plays normally as fast as it would at, it's 30, 60 or whatever frames per second. So that's annoying. And the casino stage has so much lights going on, it causes epilepsy in people. Where this game loses me is on those stages after that, because one stage I can kind of get by, it's like 10 minutes, whatever, because these stages are really short as well. The game's only like an hour and a half. And
is there only like 7 stages?
Yeah, it's very short. Even with trial and error and dying, you can, as soon as you know the path, where to go, you just go through it. It's almost like after the first 4 stages, the developers ran out of ideas until the end. Because like the I guess halfway through the 6th stage and the last stage, that's where I was only good enough to beat just over halfway, and then I watched a YouTube video to see how the rest of the game played out. And the unfortunate part of the middle game is it's just a lot of platforming with no enemies, and there's a lot of traversing using your electrical power. So what happens is you run, the character will run and he'll build up static electricity, and that'll allow him to shoot a projectile like Mega Man, or become a ball of energy that bounces around like a ping pong ball. And the developers decided to put in like weird precision platforming with it, and putting in blocks in specific areas that isn't indicative of a challenge. It's just annoying, because the challenge would be I have to do this in a time limit, or there's an enemy that might kill me in a specific way, something like that. This is just I'm stuck because I can't make this dumb bounce, and there's nothing around here to give me any stress. So you're just annoyed the whole time. There's a lot of that going on. There's a lot more platforms with no enemies. That was a big shame to me in the middle portion of the game.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I noticed one thing in boss fights, the frame rate tends to chug.
Yes, there's a lot of frame rate issues in this. But if you get a repro cart of this game, which I have, there's not a lot of frame rate issues. They fixed it.
That's good.
That's funny.
Because I know the one where you have to like use your electrical attack against the other boss that does the electrical attack, it can lag and cause you to miss.
Yeah, you'll go like right through them. Yeah. Very common. Very common. So Pulseman goes for like $300+ loose these days. It's a very expensive game. That's why repro of this game is very popular. They just didn't make a lot of these.
I see.
Yeah, so that's Pulseman. Would you guys pass Pulseman?
Yeah, I pass it.
I'm gonna fail it for $300, but pass it if you can get it any other way.
Like I did for $20 in a repro?
Yeah.
Okay. Me too. All right, so our 2 games were Stormlord and Pulseman, and of course I'm feeling better at the end of the podcast. That's how that works. Maybe I spoke too soon, but Tears, what you got?
I give Stormlord a D and Pulseman a B.
BD for Colin.
I actually have the same grades, so it's BD.
Well, who am I to be different? I will stick with it as well. BD. There we go. B and D. Okay, guys. That was this episode. Just stay tuned on the podcast feed. You will either get a new episode from us the first week of the new year or the second, depending on all our availabilities. We'll see what happens. Probably the second. We'll probably just plan for that. To be honest. Maybe even the third. Maybe we'll even take an extended little break. That might be nice. But regardless, our next episode will be we'll be sticking with the 2-game topic, and we'll go over our kind of retro game of the year from 2021. Jesus. It'll be 2022 next year. Woo. Fun stuff.
All right, cool.
Thank you, everybody. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye now.